We'll start the program in just a little bit. Welcome to my presentation on Bob Proctors Mindset 2020 presentation. It's just an overview. I'll get started in just a little bit. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody, and thanks for joining me tonight. If you're here on the Facebook page, just give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're here. A smiley face, and put some feedback in there too. How you like the program. I'm excited about 2020. It's just something about the. It's like when we hit the new millennium, when we hit the year 2000. I was excited about that. Now, 20 years later, 2020. Oh boy, I just really can't wait. There's just something about it. There's something, I feel like an energy. So the other day on Tuesday, Katie and I were talking, and she said, "Hey, Kurt, you should listen to Bob Proctors' Mindset 2020 presentation, and why don't you think about doing that on Friday?" And I went and listened to it. I went and listened to the whole presentation. It's over an hour long, and I thought, "Holy cow, this is great information, and everybody needs to hear it. I don't care what line of work you're in. I don't care what you do. I don't care how old you are. This is great information." I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So, Katie, thanks for making that suggestion. So I decided to give an overview of that presentation just to entice you to go watch it. Don't just watch it. Participate in it. When you get started, I want you to say to yourself, you're going to do it. And, if you do, I'm just going to say, I bet that next year, 2020, will be unbelievable for you. So after the program, go to my iMindset, so iMindset.com, and there you can register and you can download the free 30-page Mindset 2020 Action Planner Workbook. Do that. Don't just go watch the presentation. Download the workbook and just tell yourself right now that you're actually going to do it. So in the beginning of his program, of Mindset 2020, he really says you have to answer these three essential questions. So number one, what's your life been like up to this point? Have you felt like you've had a tough life? Have you felt like things haven't really gone the way you wanted them to go? Have you felt like maybe, you made some mistakes? Or maybe, like me. I really honestly can say I feel that I've had a blessed life. Ups and downs, twists and turns, this way and that way. But I really honestly can say that I really feel that I've led a blessed life. Everything has just been fantastic. And I know that God's taken me to the right direction, no matter what's going on in my life. And if you feel like maybe, there's some changes, you know what? This Mindset 2020 is perfect for you. And question number two, what would I truly love my life to be like? Write down your answer to that. When you get to that workbook, when you're watching that program, when you're participating in Bob Proctors Mindset 2020 program, write down, what would you love your life to be like? Number 3, are you open? Are you honest? Are you committed enough to make the changes that you learned in Mindset 2020? Do you really want to see the things happen? In question number 2, do you really want to see those things change that you may have flubbed up on in your life? This is a self-analysis, and it's not for anybody else. Don't try and answer the question based on what you think other people might want to hear. Answer it for yourself. And really, you got to start moving in the right direction. A lot of people, they have this inner voice in their head that says, you can't succeed. You can't do it. Well, that's never been done before. Oh, you're not good enough. Well, I didn't learn how to do that in school. Right? You have these inner voices in your head. And so that's the common trait when you look at people who are struggling all the time. The person who has low sales, if there's a salesman, and if they don't seem to have any success, right? You might have a student who's always getting C's or maybe low. And why can't they prove? What's the common thing? And the common trait is that they have these voices in their head, and they've convinced themselves that they can't do it. So Mindset 2020 is all about changes about what's in your head. What are those voices telling you? And so look at that stick man over on the right-hand side of your screen, the lower right-hand side of your screen. You have to have an image to work with. And your mind is kind of the unseen part of your personality. So you have to use your imagination, engage your imagination. And so I think this stick person, when I saw this on Bob Proctor's program, I thought, this is perfect. So on top, which is really the part one stage, that's your conscious mind. That's the things that you believe. That's the things that you tell yourself. You tell yourself, oh, I can't do that. Part 2 is your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind listens to your conscious mind. Your conscious mind can make a choice. It can decide, are you going to do this or are you going to do that? Are you going to be successful or are you going to be a failure? Are you going to listen or are you going to just do it the same way that you've done it before? Right? And the subconscious mind listens to your conscious mind. It's been told something over and over and over and over again. And that's not what you believe. Maybe you believe you're not good enough. Get rid of that thought. You're all good enough. I don't even know who's listening to this talk, but I can tell you that you're all good enough to do whatever you want to do. I learned that in my life from when I was way little. Even when I learned how to play the piano, and I was never all that good at it, right? I learned how. I learned how to play guitar. I learned how to play the horn. I learned how to play violin. I taught myself how to play violin. You wouldn't want me doing any of those things in your home. Your dog would run away. But what's in your subconscious mind moves on to the rest of your body, and that's the actions that you take. That's the actions that you take. So if somebody says, oh, I'll never lose weight. This is just the weight that God wanted me to be. And they've said that to themselves over and over and over, and they've convinced themselves of that. Or they're convinced that, oh, I have a slow metabolism. Maybe their doctor told them you have a slow metabolism, right? That's in their subconscious mind. But they go into the new year and they set a New Year's resolution. They say, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. The body's going to listen to the subconscious mind, and it's going to say, oh, no, you aren't. You have a slow metabolism. This is the way God wanted you to be, right? So the mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind. And evermore he takes the tool of thought, shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys and 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. Interesting. So you become what you think about. Like I said, your conscious mind has the freedom and the ability to create the mindset that you want. And this is the part of your mind that decide the changes required to live the type of life that you want to experience. The conscious mind can accept, it can reject any idea out there. And as you accept a thought and you impress it upon your personality, that goes into your subconsciousness. And it's not just saying, oh, I'm going to be a trillionaire next year. No. You have to truly believe it. You have to figure out how you're going to do it. So this is the whole thing, is that you have to have a plan as well. You can't just think it and there it is. No, you have to have it. You have to have a plan so that your body can actually go through and you can take the actions. So you have to learn how to control your mind. You have to learn how to control your thoughts. And it takes work. It takes work to get these kind of results. There's two schools of thought. You could take the side of the stream, you can follow the stream that takes you to fortune and success, or you can follow the one that takes you to poverty. Your choice. Every successful person that I talk to, they tell me this exact same thing. It's up to you. How do you want to do it? Which road are you going to take? It's a lot easier to say, well, 97% of people are that way. I mean, you've already committed to failure by accepting that. Tell yourself you want to be in the top 3%. Figure out how you're going to get into the top 3%. I'll assure you, it's not by doing the exact same thing that you've been doing. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've got. You've heard that. Successful people have a different mindset. I'm going to tell you, when I was a baby, I had an older brother. He was just a little over a year older than me. And my mom said that I just so wanted to walk and keep up with him all the time. I fell down a lot. I banged my head a lot. I bet if you look at my baby pictures, I probably have bumps and bruises all over my body, all over the place. That's what happens. You're going to fall down. And you've heard people say it's not the number of times that you fall down, it's the number of times you get back up. That's how you learn how to walk. When my kids were learning how to drive, thank God I had insurance on them. Every single one of them got into some kind of a minor fender bender accident. By the time they got down to that pickup of mine, it was so beat up. I eventually just stripped it down and I took the engine and tranny out and I put it into another car. I mean, I didn't even bother to fix it. That's how bad it was beat up. But they learned how to drive. They're good drivers. I'd trust them driving anyway. Tim Sales, who's another one of my mentors, another network marketing mentor that I listen to, a motivational speaker, successful man. He was a Navy SEAL. And he says that you don't just practice something until you get it right. You practice until you don't get it wrong. Practice, practice, practice. Practice, practice. A buddy of mine, great piano player, by the way, great bass player. He's played all over the world. He said to me, he said, Kurt, do you know how to get to Carnegie Hall? And I thought he meant, where is it? Well, it's in New York City. And, you go down this avenue and that avenue, get out your MapQuest. And he said, no, practice, practice, practice. That's how you get to Carnegie Hall. But you have to start with the basics. You have to start with the basics. When we're talking about this industry, when we're talking about working with Sizzle, with the company that we all represent, you don't automatically become a 10-star master. You start out simply by becoming a master. And then you move on to a master builder. And then you move on to a 1-star and a 2-star and a 3-star, 4-star. And you move through it and you learn. And you really can't move on until you help other people learn. But you got to start with the basics. Go to imindset.com, register, and download the free 30-page Mindset 2020 action plan. I don't get paid for pushing this. I thought it was great. It's free. And I want you all to become a black belt, not just at Sizzle, but at life. Wouldn't it be fun if every single one of you could have 2020 being your magical year, the year that everything just seems to happen? The problem with it is that a lot of us have the wrong mindset. We've been told things like, oh, they're just poor, but they're good people. Poor people, good people. Or you'll hear, the poor shall inherit the earth. Or he just got lucky. You might hear somebody say, filthy rich. You might hear somebody else say, money is the root of all evil. And you hear those things enough, it moves from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. And that's the actions that you start to take. I'm just going to end this by saying, forget all of that. Wipe it out. Take an eraser. Do like Hillary Clinton and whitewash your brain. Get those things out of there. There's no need for it. 2020 is going to be an awesome year. I'm going to talk a lot about goal setting. I'm going to talk a lot about the basics. I'm going to do a lot of opportunity presentations with people. That's the focus. And I know that that's the focus of the company as well. That's what I've been told by Aaron, Vice President of North America, is that we're really going to focus on the opportunity, because there is so much opportunity in what we do. So folks, have a Merry Christmas. And I look forward to meeting up with all of you in Australia and New Zealand when I come down there here in February. And everybody else in the United States, I look forward to seeing all of you after that. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.